And so I guess on this topic of the future of SaaS messaging and copywriting, and Myra actually asked this, like, are the robots about to replace us all? I don't know if you have any specific thoughts on that, or if it's as simple as no.
Yeah, so I have limited experience with like copy bots. I've tested a few of them out. So far, I don't think that there's been a single case where I've actually like gotten any significant help from one of these tools. I think it's just like what I'm trying to do is just a little bit too complex, and right now all it can do is just kind of like the same thing that I would do if I had like a whole list of like copywriting formulas and just kind of like filled in the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine that larger companies, that if you are, I don't know, Intuit or something, and you have this massive, massive email list, I have to imagine that like subject lines and things like that, that there is some amount of AI that those companies are using to optimize things like that, for sure. But I don't think that it replaces any of the strategic work, the stuff that I feel like I'm actually being paid for. Um, I'm sure that the tools will get better, and that I'm hoping to be able to use them myself as ways to kind of like generate ideas. If I'm a little bit stuck, maybe it can help me get out of the rut that I'm in, whatever it might be. But like so far on when I've tried to use it to help write web copy, I don't think I've used anything that a bot's generated for me.
Yeah,
How about you?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I won't name the company, but to kind of tell you the state of things, and they actually, I don't think, would want to hide this because they're very much on the right side of history, which is they see copybots AI as like a symbiotic relationship with
Mm-hmm.
writers. They don't see it as a perfect replacement. But anyways, to kind of give you an idea of where things are, like they hired me, a copywriter, to write copy for their website as an AI copywriting tool. Um, so yeah, what I think when I think about AI copywriting, I think it's going to make in the short term like poor to average copy a lot more accessible and inexpensive. So if you are someone who makes your living by writing, if you're being honest with yourself, not the best stuff, but really quickly, I think your days might be numbered. Um, I think it will write really good copy, perhaps better than a lot of copywriters in places where it has a lot of data to pull from. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a copywriter and you're writing things for, e-commerce companies and like spaces like t-shirts, bed sheets, shoes, makeup, just things where an AI bot could pull from a massive amount of data over many years and start spinning up copy. Again, I think it's going to come for you sooner than it's going to come for somebody like you and I who are writing copy for an enterprise SaaS company. I think it's going to be a lot harder for AI to write convincing copy about a SaaS that helps medical device companies reach and maintain uh, compliance, for example.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot to pull from. Like if you try it and it pulls stuff in, it's either going to be irrelevant or it's going to be stealing literally directly from your one or two other competitors, and that's also going to be unusable. So I think if you're trying to outrun the bots, I think you should get comfortable with the idea of using them, like you said, to kind of spin
Yep.
up ideas, refine ideas sooner rather than later. As soon as it becomes useful, just welcome that as part of your process. Um, process. That's going to be a common theme
I
across all of
passed.
our
I
recordings.
didn't. I didn't even register
It was your
it.
lack. It was your lack of reaction that made me react. so Um, so yeah, I think getting comfortable with it, using it as part of your process is going to be good. And then to outrun it, like focus on things that AI won't have a lot of data to pull from. So more sophisticated products where there aren't a ton of competitors. It's going to reach that market far later than it's going to reach, the person who's writing about commodities like bed sheets and things like that, where there's like who knows how many providers all posting their copy online, and it's not too hard to steal that stuff and repurpose it and make it new. So yeah, and actually a book that is not about this directly at all, but I am reading right now, is called Principles by Ray Dalio. Basically, he's one of the best hedge fund investors of all time. And for like the past 30 years, the way he's had his advantage is by just dumping tons and tons of market data, historical and current, into, you could say a computer, but I'm sure it's a lot of computers at this point, and like back testing different theories and kind of refining the algorithm and the data sets as, you know, they have different results and they make mistakes. And so he has sort of seen this as like a symbiotic relationship, and it's his main advantage as a hedge fund investor. It does not replace them. You know, humans still have to be there to make the final call. They still have to decide which data sets to feed it and how to write the algorithms, but there are advantages there. And I don't think we're quite there in when it comes to AI copywriting for like niches like ours, but I think it would be foolish to think that AI is just going to disappear and that it's not going to get better. It's going to become part of our process at some point, I think.
For sure. And that's why I try to keep the attitude of just like, you know, I keep an eye on it, on the industry. I try the tools every few months just to see like how if it's improved and what's going on. But yeah, I see it the same way. Like I'm gonna just embrace the change as it comes. Hopefully, it won't replace like my favorite parts of the job, but like
Yeah,
I don't think that's gonna. I just don't see it happening, and that's another reason to always be, you know, selling your services as like as a strategic consultant and not just a copywriter, because yeah, strategy is going to be harder for a robot to replace. And if the robots do get good, then, you know, it's probably a good tool to have if you're working, if your services are, if you're offering strategic services, might just free up more time for you to spend doing that stuff. And maybe the bots can take over some of the, you know, kind of mundane parts of your job.
definitely. Yeah. And I mean, learning how to interact with these things is a skill in itself. Like you can't just go to it and be like, write this landing page about medical device SaaS or software. You can't do it that way. You have to direct its attention in a certain way and make sure that it's taking in the right data. So it's like anything, AI is going to replace some people. But if you're smart about it, and you kind of keep up with it, I think it's going to open up opportunities that we also just don't even know about right now.